After 48 hours of long, intense contractions, Arianna is still not fully dilated. Fearing for the baby's safety, the midwives have activated Plan B. Instead of birthing in her cozy home surrounded by her family and birth team, Arianna is off to give birth at the hospital, where she encounters strict COVID protocols. Arianna dilates to 9.5 centimeters, but with the baby's heart rate decelerating during pushing, the doctor calls for an emergency cesarean birth. I'm pregnancy-focused chiropractor Dr. Elliot Berlin, and you're listening to One Way or a Mother. Everybody wants you to try to push that baby through your not fully open cervix, but it's not happening. Baby's not having it. How do you feel at that moment?
I'm just like, fine, get him out. Let's get him out. Because if he's not digging the closed cervix, like I'm not either. So
let's make a door.
Make a door. Do it.
What's the room like?
Bright. So bright. Bright and white and sterile. Exactly what you wish an operating room to be like, but you don't want to end up in one.
No.
You know? Yeah.
Do they take you off the bed and put you on like an operating table?
Yeah.
Metal, cold?
They shifted me. I don't remember if it was cold or not. I just remember I think I was in shock at this point.
Is Zach still taking pictures?
I think so.
Look, he's got a mission. He's got a job.
He's recording. He's like, okay, let's do it. I'm just gonna take the pictures. Yeah, he has his like hairnet on and he's all scrubbed in. They put up the thingy. What's that? The
little blue sheet.
Yeah, the blue sheet. And they are like, you're gonna feel the pressure. Okay. I totally felt all my organs being moved around. Totally felt the baby come
that
out.
Sounds so creepy.
It was so creepy. I was like, okay.
But you love being touched.
I do love being touched, but I like to feel that.
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. So that was interesting. So felt that, and then all of a sudden they like lower the curtain, and this little alien with his long arms stretched out just gives out this like loud cry, like. I just remember his pink face just in sheer horror. And that haunts me still. His little like wings and in his scared face and his wail just that was intense. Then I started screaming, where's my baby? Give me my baby, like a psycho. Like, give me my baby. Where's my baby? I want my baby. Because they were taking too long. I just wanted him near me. Then I started shaking violently, like worse than before. So worse than the adrenaline shakes. It was like my head was lolling from side to side. My neck was so tense and tight and seized up. And I couldn't control my neck movements or my head or my face. And it was like I was having a seizure. It was very scary.
But nobody was nervous.
No one seemed to notice at all. And I guess that's normal. I don't know.
Scary for you, but they're used to it.
Yeah, I just wish someone would have been like, this is normal. Don't worry.
That's typical.
Yeah. Hello. Tell me what's going on with my body.
I remember being one of my first births as a doula. She just went into those kind of convulsion-like shakes, and I was like, tell somebody what I'm seeing, because it doesn't look normal, but it's typical.
Oh, that's so crazy. I had no idea that was typical. So I was just like, I feel nuts. Where's my child? I can't move my body. What the hell? So they finally brought my baby to me, put him to my cheek. He's all wrapped up. And as soon as his little cheek touched my cheek, the shaking stopped.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awesome. And there's a picture of that. Zach took a nice photo.
Oh, thanks, Zach. Wow. And then, I mean, are you even aware of the fact that they're stitching you back up and putting you back together?
I can feel that. I don't care. I don't care at this point. I'm just sad that I can't hold him because my arms, I can't.
They're
My
too
arms
jello-y.
jello-y and
Somebody's holding him on your body.
half on my chest or shoulder or something. So he's near me and yeah.
How was the recovery?
Terrible. It was absolutely awful. My doctor loves to tell me that I had the worst of both worlds. So that I had a really intense, hard vaginal birth as well as a really hard and intense C-section.
Why was the C-section hard and intense compared to typical?
When the baby came out, he ripped part of the incision
Oh,
on one side. So the incision was X amount of inches long, and on one side he ripped it open an inch with his head.
oh. How big was he?
8.2, but his head, I guess, was stuck in one side of my pelvis. So when he came out, he kind of like bobbed out in a funny way and tore me.
I guess that's why he wasn't coming out.
So yeah, that was unfortunate. And then they stitched me up. One side of the stitches was tighter than the other side.
Ooh.
So that was painful. Recovering in a hospital is really hard. Someone comes in every hour or 2 hours. So it's impossible to feel like you're resting. And we weren't allowed to order any food in. So we had to have the hospital food,
Oy.
which I don't know if anyone's ever had hospital food. It's not great. It was really hard not to be in our house because that's where we had envisioned it. And to be in a hospital, I had never personally spent any time in a hospital for my own self. I had visited people in the hospital before, but I had never been a patient. So that was also hard. And then not being able to walk and pick up my kid. That sucked.
Not being able to walk because you had pain or because they wanted you to rest?
I couldn't walk yet. And they forced me to after 24 hours. That was the first time I walked, and it was so painful.
Where?
Where the stitches were.
Oh, at the incision.
At the incision, yeah.
How was breastfeeding going?
It was fine. He latched right away, but he was cluster feeding. So every 30 minutes he was on there. And I was like, dude, I'm so tired. What's happening? Oh. I was like, is this normal? And everyone said, oh, it's pretty normal. This is fine. But I had to get someone to come bring me the baby or get Zach to bring me the baby.
Oh, you still couldn't lift him up?
Yeah, no, I couldn't get out or lift or anything like that.
Was it like a cool feeling that like my body is making food for this newborn?
Oh, yeah. Baby? That part was awesome. He was a champion and latched right away. But my breastfeeding journey is like a whole nother story. Yeah, not the greatest either. I know. I mean, look, I learned so much through all of it, so I'm grateful for all of it, but going through it was a pain and hard.
Were you taking medication at the hospital, like to help with the pain?
They gave me Tylenol, I think, or yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the strongest.
No, definitely not the strongest. Maybe have no, it was Tylenol. It was like a lot of Tylenol. So when we got out of the hospital, I think recovery was going fine. So we're like 3 weeks into recovery, and I'm like, okay, starting to be able to walk. It's fine, whatever. And then Wilder got sick, and we had to go back to the hospital.
What do you mean got sick?
He had a fever over 100.3, which was ER time. So we had to go to the emergency room.
Is that scary? Like maybe he has COVID?
Not maybe he has COVID. It was maybe, the worry is meningitis, right? I think is the big one.
I mean, usually, but like in the middle of the pandemic, I just remember everybody was super like.
I wasn't worried that he had COVID. I didn't even know that rule until I texted the pediatrician we had. So I didn't even know. He was like, you need to go to the emergency room immediately. I was like, what?
Goodness.
Oh, okay. So we did. And then we spent 5 days in the hospital.
Whoa. So
Yeah.
it was some kind of infection.
It was some sort of infection. They ruled everything out. They never figured out what it was, but I didn't sleep for 5 days. I wasn't allowed to co-sleep with him at the hospital. They said that was a rule. They said, you can have him in your bed if you stay awake.
Oh,
And I
that's
said,
crazy.
okay, so I'll stay awake. And I got tendonitis in both wrists from holding him. So that was bad. And then when we got back from the hospital, Zach thought he had COVID. So he was in a separate room. So it was just me and the baby
Oh,
after 5 days of not sleeping after that whole birth thing. So my recovery was set back so far from all of it. I think it just lasted, I think it took like 3 or 4 months to recover.
did you have help in the house?
I had a postpartum doula that was part-time. She made food. My mom came over quite a bit. And yeah, that was it.
Physically, did your incision heal well? I mean, both of your recoveries, right? Because you had a vaginal almost birth recovery and a
Yeah.
cesarean birth recovery.
I didn't even notice anything with my vagina. That's how intense the cesarean was in my abdomen. I think from all of the contractions, the long contractions, and then the involuntary pushing, and my back. And this is my abdomen, my back, the pain there, and then the pain in the incision was just next level. Like I was useless. I couldn't sit up at all.
And normally, what would help your body heal is getting a great night's sleep.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
wasn't happening.
Nope.
No sleep for new mom Arianna means the tough first days of parenthood are even tougher. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Even though other things sort of went down your rabbit hole of birth plan, seemingly breastfeeding was going well for you, latching well, making milk, cluster feeding.
I thought it was going well, but he wasn't gaining weight. So that was not good. And my midwife suggested that I do supplemental feeding with him. So she brought a bottle of donor milk and gave it to him. And she goes, look how happy he is. And I think my heart broke in that moment when she did that because I was like, my body has already in my head, right? This isn't how I feel now, but my body has failed to do so much and now it's failing at this. And now I'm watching my kid drinking some other woman's milk. And like, I think I'm going to jump off my balcony. Like I just couldn't. It was just so awful. And it doesn't matter. He's getting fed. Like I should be happy. But that to me, it was so soon after all of that. And I think I'm fairly certain I had really horrible PTSD for a while. Like I had waking nightmares all the time about the birth and
Like a recurring nightmare?
a recurring nightmare of just different scenes from that whole experience. In the daytime too, I would just think about it and start crying and just be like, I have no idea what happened. What the heck? Like I told people afterwards, I was like, I entered like hell. I entered hell. I went there. I went to hell and I survived and now I'm back. And now I'm processing it. So she gave him a bottle of donor milk. So then I was like all freaked out about that. And so Wilder and I were evaluated by a lactation consultant. She said, you're making milk. You're making enough milk. He's just not latching well. I think you can do this on your own. I think he might have a tongue tie. I said, okay, great. So I went to the pediatric dentist. I got his lip tie lasered. I got his tongue tie lasered. That helped with the pain, with the latching. But I could never get the confidence back for myself to let go of that like top off of donor milk.
Oh, really? Like you didn't
No.
trust yourself?
No, I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't starve my kid. I can't let my baby down. I couldn't do it.
And
It
you're
was like
not
a
normally
block.
like that kind of warrior.
Right, exactly. So this
It's
was
out of character.
totally very out of character. So then I became obsessed with breastfeeding, like obsessed. So I was like obsessed with feeding my kid. I was like, I need to get my milk supply up. I was taking every sort of supplement. I was force feeding myself lots and lots and lots of fat because I was told by many people that you need a lot of fat in order to make your milk. Okay. So consequently, I gained like 40 pounds after
Oh
I
my
gave
goodness.
birth because I was
And
drinking freaking butter in my tea, dude.
oh, what's that stuff called? Ghee?
Yeah.
Ghee in your tea? Ghee tea.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But that just brings back earlier. We talked about how during pregnancy, you were like, I gotta stay healthy for my postpartum body.
Yeah.
And then your postpartum body is hurting and your postpartum mind is really confused and unhappy.
Yeah.
And now you have anxiety on top of it about feeding
Hmm.
and you gain 40 pounds.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Kind
what
of on
am I like?
purpose.
On purpose, not intentionally gaining the weight, but I'm like, I need to just be able to make milk. I'm a milk machine. I need to make as much milk as possible. Like I don't even know what happened, but I was power pumping. I don't know if you know what that is,
I don't
but
know what that is. It just sounds like an Olympic category.
you pump for an hour. So you take breaks. I can't remember the exact thing. It's like you pump for 20 minutes and then you take a break and then you do it again and then you take a break, but it's an hour. It's like a pumping hour
Oh, huh.
where you do this thing to like stimulate milk production.
As if you had twins or triplets.
Yeah,
Aren't there ways to measure the milk? Like if you're pumping, you know how much you're getting. Or if you weigh the baby, feed the baby, weigh the baby, you know how much they got.
you can. But again, neither of those things are totally accurate.
Hmm. So
And
not enough for you to be satisfied.
I don't know if I could have ever gotten to a place if I were creating milk for a litter of babies, if I would have been satisfied, to be
Mm.
honest, because I think that I was just so manic about it for so many different reasons that I don't know if it even mattered how much milk I was making.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
then donor milk, is this coming from known donors who just have extra milk or like a bank?
It's coming from other clients as my midwives and doula. It's coming from the doula's uh, contact circle that I have. And then it also came from Facebook. There is this awesome group on Facebook called Human Milk for Human Babies.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you like test it at all?
No, it's really hard to get into. So you have to be a lactating mom and they ask you all these crazy questions and they vet you and this stuff. And it's by honor system and they have it's worldwide. So you can go and basically tell your story and request donor milk and people can respond to you or message you and say like, hey, I think this would be a good fit, or I have some I would love to donate to you, or this and that. And you can
How long did
request
you
their
do that
medical
for?
records.
Oh,
I did that for so I breastfed for 10 months. So I was also supplementing for 10 months.
even once you started eating?
No, I think I stopped getting donor milk. We had plenty. So
Hmm.
no, I didn't continue that. I just breastfed him and he ate solids.
I don't know how long you set out to breastfeed for. How did you
6 months.
determine? Oh, you wanted to do 6.
Yeah.
What was that based on?
I don't know. It's arbitrary. Felt good. I was like, I could probably do it for 6 months. I'm just gonna hit that goalpost.
So you went longer than 6. So why? And then why stop at 10? How did you know this is the time?
It was hard to wean because I got so used to it. And I woke up at 3 in the morning every single night to pump.
Oh,
So
still.
I'm still doing it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was waking up at 3 in the morning every night and I got really used to it and really enjoyed that alone time, like
Okay.
that alone, like quiet time.
Well, it's not
So
totally
that
quiet. It's like swoosh, swoosh, swoosh,
it's the
swoosh,
swoosh, swoosh, swoosh, but also I would treat myself to a show by myself at night. So I would watch
swoosh.
TV for 30 minutes
Oh,
and then
tell me, what do you like to watch?
the best one, I think the best round was Bridgerton. That was really fun. That was good. Yeah.
I could see why you didn't give up breastfeeding.
So, no, I did eventually wean because he was getting teeth, and I was like, okay, he loves food. And then Zach and I had a special romantic trip planned to Cabo. And I was like, I really don't want to be lactating in Cabo.
On your romantic trip.
Yeah.
This is hard for everyone to figure out, but for you guys, how did romance pick back up after your body got all beat up?
It was great, actually. It was fine. The baby was sleeping in the room with us. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months after. And we were just like both in the mood. Like it was not hard to pick back up at all. I didn't feel weird about my body, about that at all. It was just nice to be close to my husband again.
Sure.
We were just so excited we made a baby. I think that was like aphrodisiac enough.
So the journey did not go as you envisioned, but you both came out healthy.
Yes.
And that's, I think, a lot of times what people say to you after you plan something very natural or home birthing and then end up with the ultimate medicalized birth.
Mm-hmm.
Is that comforting, annoying, somewhere in between?
Both. I think both. I think it's a nice reminder. I'm like, yes, of course we're both healthy. Of course I'm happy about that. Duh. Like, of
That's what I'm
course.
thinking. Duh.
Like, duh. Yes, we're both healthy. Thank God. Yes. But that also sucked, right? So it is somewhere in between. I think it is more annoying than it is helpful.
I mean, it
Because
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That you could be super excited that you made a baby and that you're both healthy, and at the same time mourn the loss of the experience that you wanted
Yeah.
and mourn the hell of the experience you kind of had.
Yeah, definitely. It was so bizarre because I was so obsessed with him and was so happy to have him and looked at him all day long, but then would have these flashes of his birth and be like, oh my, what in what world are these two things true? But they were. Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting to watch you because it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was less than 2 years ago.
And it's interesting for you to go back because you seem like you've come so far from that postpartum. I mean, do you still have flashbacks?
No, I don't. I don't have flashbacks. I am trying to talk about it as much as I can and working with my new doula. We're doing hypnobirthing and trying to release any kind of stuff that might be stuck there from my experience. So anything that was said to me during that experience that I still maybe hold on to or feel bad about or that still gets me riled up or anything like that. So working on releasing it, but I think I did a good job of working through it.
Luckily for this program, you're pregnant again.
Luckily. Yeah.
I mean, it really helps. And you're nice way into the pregnancy. And one wonders, like, given your first plan and experience, what you might be planning now. But we'll have to find out when we come back. Is this baby a result of that trip to Cabo?
No, man, wouldn't that be a great story? No, no. He is a result of us being like, maybe we should have another kid. Let's try pulling the goalie again. Oops, first try again.
Wow, that's your thing.
Yeah, that's our thing. And it's like the exact same timeline. So yeah.
In the year.
Yeah, exact same timeline in the year.
So they'll be 2 years apart.
Yeah, exactly.
When you thought about pulling the goalie and having another kid, did you talk about or have thoughts about how I mean, look, once you have a cesarean birth, you have two choices that I know of. You can have a repeat cesarean, or you can go for a trial of labor in the hopes of having a vaginal birth after cesarean. And there, pros and cons to both. What's your thought process?
I'll be going for the latter, of course, because why not? We want a lot of kids. I don't know how many yet, but I do know we would like to have more than 2. So if I want to do that, I think I got to do the vaginal birth, and
Is
I do want that experience.
and are you planning to do this one at home or in the hospital?
In the hospital with the OB that I was with before. Our backup became my regular
Your
OB.
primary.
My
And
primary, yeah.
and how does the OB feel about VBAC in general and as it pertains to you specifically?
He's very supportive and recommends a VBAC. So he thinks I can do it. He's excited. He's very open to making this happen.
You must have a lot of trust in the guy who did your last one.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you guys talk about what happened last time and if there's anything that might have contributed to it or ways to prevent that from happening again?
Yeah, I asked him. He says he still doesn't know. He thinks he was just maybe big, and I don't think that's true. But he was definitely not aligned correctly. He wasn't positioned right in my pelvis. So
Hmm.
he said it's just an unlucky thing to have happen.
Okay, so not a typically recurring event.
Right. Correct.
And not being lined up with the runway is, it's hard because no matter how much pressure is coming down, they're not really progressing anymore. They're just flexing their neck.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And so I don't think that'll happen twice, but if it does, I feel like I might be able to this time, since I know the birthscape, I've been there before, I might be able to ask for help sooner or, you know, not have to go through hell in order to get to see my baby.
You chose hospital.
Hmm.
What went into that decision? Because, like in Los Angeles, there's a lot of options for home birth or birthing center birth with a VBAC.
I think it's because being so traumatized last time of the transfer that I just want to just be in the hospital. And my OB said, if it goes well, I'll get you out of there in 2 hours after you
After
give
the
birth.
birth? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
He said, I'll get you out. I know you don't want to be there. And I said, okay, deal.
Are you planning to labor at home
Yes. I'm planning on laboring at home for as long
with
as I possibly can
who around you?
with Zach and new doula.
Okay. New doula. You talked about new doula and hypnobirthing. So it's a
Hmm.
hypnobirthing doula.
Yes.
How did you meet this doula and choose this doula?
She
Because you
is,
sounded like you had an awesome experience with your last doula.
I did. I think I just need to mix the birth team up because of the nature of the last birth, not because either of them did anything wrong or I harbor any resentment towards them at all. I think it was just I wanted something fresh.
Mhm.
I wanted it to be able to be sort of like a new experience. I don't know, if I worked with them again, if something would trigger me and I would, that felt right to go in a new direction.
Had you done hypnosis before or hypnobirthing before?
No, never. I think I heard about it on your podcast.
Oh, I recommend it. That is the Informed
Yeah,
Pregnancy podcast, our sister podcast.
that's correct. It was, yeah, it sounded really awesome to me. I was like, I want that. So, in my quest for a doula this time, it was important that they either were familiar with it or taught it. So, my girlfriend who lives in New York still, she told me during my last pregnancy, she was like, I have a doula friend. You should meet her. I have a doula friend. She's awesome. So, finally, I was like, fine, let me meet your doula friend.
In New York.
She's in New York.
You're here
And I'm
in
here.
Los Angeles.
Yes. But we do go back and forth to New York a lot. So I did get to meet her and we clicked immediately. Really vibed. She's my kind of gal, get along on a personal level. And she is so informed. And everything when I told her about my first birth with Wilder, I loved her responses like, oh, if I had seen that, this is what I would have done. Oh, if this were happening, this is how I would have handled it. Hey, let me tell you how I operate, how this would have gone down, how it would have been not different with me, but how I operate, how I do stuff. And I was like, I like that. I'm great. I feel like I trust you.
From intense anxiety and PTSD to accessing her inner calm, Arianna is now on her journey to create a more positive and hopefully pleasurable birth experience with her second baby. She's doing a lot to prepare for this one, and she takes us with her every step of the way.
I really did give up so much of my power, not just during birth, but especially after. But emotionally, mentally, I completely gave up. I gave it all up.
Tune in next time as we join Arianna in her hypnobirthing session on One Way or Mother.
Creator, producer, writer, and a host of One Way or a Mother is Dr. Elliot Berlin, D.C. Rose Hart-Landsberg and Natalie Pulvino are the writers and producers. Paul Greenberg is the consulting producer. Nishida was the sound engineer at Pacifica Studios. Nikola Tarabaovic was the audio engineer. Story editing and sound mixing by Mallory Edson. Theme music composed by Guilherme Silva. Juliette Lamar was a contributing editor. Special thanks to Arianna, Zach, and their family, and the providers for sharing their birth story. One Way or a Mother is an original production by Berlin LLC and the Informed Pregnancy Project. All rights reserved. Thanks for tuning in.